a.m. Welcome to The Breakfast Show. I'm Mal Krishnasamy. I'm here every Monday. Coming up, we have special guest Siobhan from Teachers Love Stationery. It's a holiday Monday morning. This is Teachers Talk Radio, and we are live.
Live from Bournemouth, this is The Breakfast Show with Mal Krishnasamy on Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live on the Podbean app or desktop player. Just head over to www.podbean.com/LSW/TT Radio or search Teachers Talk Radio.
Morning, morning, morning. Welcome to the show. It's 9 o'clock, or 9:02 now. It's nice being this late. I'm much more awake. Now, I bet you're relieved it's the holidays. I mean, what a year it's been. It's been mental, hasn't it? It's been absolutely mental. Today, we are talking, what are we talking about? We're talking about teacher holidays, funnily enough. Now, you should all be on holiday, although I did read somewhere, I think Tom Hopkins Burke, if you're around, you're still going. How is that possible? It's the 26th of July. Do you start later in September? I'd rather have more time at the beginning of the holidays than the late. But then saying that, maybe you could go away early September and it won't cost so much. But then saying that, it's the beginning of term, so I'd want to be prepared. So I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are. Would you like more time in July or would you like more time in September? You definitely don't want to be at work in August, although a lot of schools, I know some schools start. I'm actually doing an inset day in August 31st. So some schools would have started by that time in August. That seems really alien to me because I used to, I remember in my day, it really was 6 weeks. We wouldn't start until around my sister's birthday, which was around the 6th of September, and we'd be done by the 20th of July. So, yeah, it seems like some schools they're getting less and less and less and less time to have that break. So today we are talking teacher holidays. Teachers Love Stationery are coming in too in 15 minutes. I want to know about your holiday disaster stories, which are probably quite funny now. I'll be telling you about at least one of my holiday disaster stories. Oh God, I just thought of another one. So maybe I'll tell you too. I'll be giving top tips on camping as well, because later on today we're off camping. I live in Dorset, which is like the greatest county in England. So we live in Dorset and holiday in Dorset because Dorset's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I've already seen lots of people on edgy Twitter posting their holiday snaps, and it's all in Dorset. It's in Bournemouth. It's in Swanage. It's by Harry's Rocks. It's all these beautiful areas, and I can't wait to go with the kids and my other half camping in a moment. Welcome to the show, BPP. 6NS9HMR, whoever that is. But say hello and where you're listening in from. Okay, so yes, so I'll be giving top tips later in the show on camping with kids. Don't take them. Top tip, don't take them, leave them. Only joking. Okay, so weekend shows. I didn't get a chance. I've been mega busy. We've got a few new hosts are joining us this summer on Teachers Talk Radio, which is very exciting. If you're interested in becoming a host, fill in the form on www.ttradio.org dash, or I can't think it's still too early for me what that sign is, contact. Anyway, so you can listen live or listen back on Teachers Talk Radio. So let us know what you are doing this summer holidays. Now, I just got a message from Nathan Ginn saying that he's at the beach today. It's where I live. No, I don't live on the beach. But Bournemouth is beautiful. The sun's already shining. The beaches will be rammed. It's quite funny. Oh, hang on. It's quite funny because where I live in Bournemouth, well, it's a holiday destination. Now, here I've got BPP in the studio. Can you hear me?
Good morning. It's Sabrina from Teachers of Stationery. I don't know why my name's come up like that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Thanks for having me on.
That's what I wasn't expecting you yet. I was like, oh, hello.
Oh, I needed to make sure I was logged in nice and early. I didn't want to miss you.
All right. Yeah. So how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm awake.
Yes. Well, my daughter's primary school has one extra day added on because they closed early in December because of COVID testing. So I've had to get up and take. I know. Pretty sure they're the only school in the area still open. My school finished last Wednesday, so it's a bit of an interruption to our holiday.
That's ridiculous.
It's kind of sad because one of her friends moved house at the weekend, and I think some of the other children had summer schools or things that they'd paid for. There's kind of some sort of Lego engineering thing that's being run locally that I think some of the children asked permission to miss that last day of school because their parents already signed up for it. But yes, so she's in today on her last day. Poor old teachers are all there at the school gates.
Oh God, yeah, and I bet they're all smiling. Hello.
Yeah, still really perky.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I'm secondary trained, so it's like,
yeah,
shirt in. You just feel like you're miserable on the gate. But the primary school teachers are amazing. Welcome, hi. You know,
I know.
Like, oh my God.
As a secondary, you can stand on the school gates with a hot coffee and the kids know as they come in, Mrs. got her coffee. She's going to be okay today.
You won't have the shakes. So what is your background?
Okay, so I'm a secondary science teacher at the moment, working part-time, and before that I worked in so I've been a head of science, I've been a senior leader in charge of training skit trainees across an academy chain, so I've been and I also took some time out of regular teaching to work in medical education and medical leadership, so I've had quite an interesting career here, there and everywhere. And now somehow I've landed in stationery boxes. So there we go.
Yeah. And how did that happen?
Well, my husband and I subscribe to stationery boxes ourselves. And it's something we started it before lockdown, but I think during lockdown it was a real ray of sunshine because we couldn't go out and see our friends or socialize or go to pubs and restaurants. One of the boxes we got was a gin subscription, which of course as teachers is quite an essential. But it was really nice because we could, have a drink and read the little magazine that came with it. And it came with some little snacks, and it was a bit like bringing the pub home and having a little treat and a present for ourselves. And I'm really, obviously, as teachers are, really into stationery and things that are sort of pretty and nice but also useful. And I was looking for a stationery subscription box that would be good for me as a teacher, but a lot of them were sort of aimed at people who work in offices, or the boxes only had a couple of items in and they were quite high end, not necessarily useful for me. So we just decided to start our own stationery box subscription, really. And I'm in charge of sort of buying and sourcing the items for the boxes. And my husband runs the sort of admin side of things. And then sort of for a week every month, we're super busy packing up boxes.
Right. So it sounds quite, so what kind of things do you get in your say if you did subscribe, what kind of things does it have?
What we tend to do is make sure that our boxes contain sort of one nice large item or one more sort of valuable sort of item that's been made specifically for Teachers of Stationery Club. We always try to ensure there's also one item that's really quirky, hard to get hold of, something you wouldn't be able to just pick up in the shops. And also we try to also include a branded item where possible. So, for example, in the most recent box we did, which was each box has monthly themes. So last month was citrus, citrus scents. So there was 2 pocket-sized notebooks, which were, we thought would be handy for making little lists and putting these together at the end of the year. We also included for the quirky item that you just can't get anywhere. I have a contact, one of our manufacturers makes things specially for us, and she sends us all their latest designs and unusual things that you can't get elsewhere. And it's a highlighter pen and a biro in one. And the highlighter pen is scented. So there was an orange one, which was orange scented, and a yellow one, which was lemon scented. And also, because it was the end of the year, we decided to include some thank you cards, which are super useful to, say thank you to your colleagues or your admin team at the end of the year. I'm trying to think what else we put in there now. There was a scented orange eraser, a couple of little bold sweets, also always useful for a little sugar rush that you need in your desk at work. There was some stickers. So at school, my kids just love it. I just hand out stickers like they're confetti all the time. They love it. They're really engaged in lessons, always wanting to answer questions or come up with something unusual or different that someone else hasn't answered. And they decorate the front of their exercise books with them. I think some of my pupils put them on their planners as well. So popped in the pack of little stickers in there and some reward stickers as well, which are useful for marking.
Okay, so what that sounds great. I mean, I had a quick look around your website because I was making a little video for
wow,
for you
thank
as an
you.
advert for Teachers Talk Radio. So I was having a look, and it does look it looks amazing, all the different types of boxes. So where can people find out more about these boxes?
So if they head on over to our website at www.teachersofstationery.club, we've got images of every past box. We've also got lots of people on Twitter. We seem to be mostly active on Twitter. I think that's where all the teachers tend to hang out, and they love to post pictures of their boxes, videos of their boxes, reviews of some of the things that have been in there. So I think if you were to follow us on Twitter, that would be a great way to see what's been in our past boxes and how the reception has been for those. We also got a Facebook and an Instagram, of course, and our Twitter handle is at tls-dot-club. So I definitely think our Twitter is the most active at the moment and the one where we get most of our engagement from our customers and followers.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, Megan Goods, our wonderful news director, I should say, she's asked a great question. Why do you think teachers have such an obsession with stationery? Is it the personality type that goes into this career?
I think that it is partly to do with the personality type. I also think it's partly to do with the idea of treating yourself and having the problem is, and I think I mentioned this with some of these other stationery boxes. Some of the stuff, it's really pretty and nice, but it's not necessarily the stuff that you'd use. It'd end up just going in a drawer. And I don't think people want to just hoard stationery and people just want to hoard stuff. I think that, teachers like using stuff. They like having nice things. They like having the pretty notebook that's actually useful, not the one that costs £35. And if you lose it in a classroom somewhere, you're going to be devastated. I think that it's for us, it's about balancing that cost and having something nice to use with having something that's actually not going to cost you the earth and is actually reasonably priced. I think for me personally, I just have this sort of trauma where my department or my lab technicians would always order the cheapest possible pens from those big old catalogs you get in the schools. And then, so however many children would come in and they wouldn't have a pen and you'd give them a pen. And then, so, Miss, my pen's not working. So you pulls the register, you give them a pen, you carry on taking the register. Miss, this pen's not working either. You've given me a duff pen. And I just think that having good quality working stationery, it's worth paying for. It's worth having. And,
it's a false economy, isn't it? It's like those Pritt sticks that aren't Pritt sticks.
No, they just don't stick anything.
No.
They stick some sheets in the front of their book in sort of September, October, and then 2 months down the line, you open their book to market and there's these sort of slightly crispy pieces of paper falling out.
Yeah, so it's like opening the Sunday papers or something, isn't it? All the stuff comes out. You're like, oh, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of, trying to stick it all back in again. Yeah,
that's right.
I was going to ask you something else. Yeah, so and Megan also says, I'd love a stationery box that's just 100 black biros. Seems to be what I go through each month.
Yeah,
and she says, I called a branded Pritt stick a premium glue stick, and my year 9 did not understand. So nice to be heard. This sounds cathartic for Megan.
It does. We get our rations at the beginning of September. So every September in my school, each of our lab technicians brings us a tray with X number of glue sticks, X number of scissors, and so many pens and so forth. And one of the things that my husband and I made, because we knew teachers would like this, we make property of stickers with your name pre-printed on it. Ooh. So all you have to do is go on and they fit nicely on a glue stick. So all of my glue sticks say property of Mrs. Thompson on them. Good job, all done. And the same with my own teacher copies of textbooks, because they tend to go walkabout as well. So I've cut them all in one place, all with a nice sticker on the front that says property of Mrs. Thompson, so that I don't get kids or colleagues borrowing them.
This would be a dream for my other half, because he's now taken to labelling pens. We share this in our house. Now, to be fair, it sounds ridiculous, does it? Well, it is ridiculous, I have to say. But it's because I'm a bit crap. I'm a bit rubbish. In that I'll get a pen and he'll say, "Where's the lid?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And I'll put it down without the lid, and he knows where all his pens are with the lids, whereas I'm constantly, it's down the side of the sofa, it's all over the place. So he's now labelled his, and I can see now behind the computer he's got a pot of pens all labelled, and I've got one on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
I know it's mine because it's on the floor, and B, there isn't a label. I mean, to be fair, he hasn't put his name on the label. It's just a sign that it's his, So it's, oh my God, I've just seen a pen and it's got C written on it. So he's probably put letters on it too.
Oh gosh.
This is how bad. No, this is either an indication of him or me.
Yeah. Well, well, I was just thinking because, I tend to get because my classroom isn't my own because I'm part time, so I share, and I just sort of come in on a Wednesday and there's stuff, and I put it all in this one big box that goes to lost property, and I don't know if any of that stuff is ever reunited with its owners, but we did have a message from one of our customers because when we were a smaller, before we got as big as we were, when we were much smaller, we were able to put personalised things in the boxes from time to time. And she had a keyring with her initials on it. And she lost her school keys. And because of the keyring with her initials, they found their way back to her. So I was pretty impressed by that. We do still do our personalised stuff in store, though. So it's quite handy, especially, as I say, when it's your school keys and you're, here, there, and everywhere within the school building. It's handy to have. So I've got that on my school keys as well. I'm just trying to think how we can resolve this pen situation. I mean, we do also do pencil cases with your name on them. So mine says Mrs. Thompson's
I have a
teacher
pencil
stuff.
case. Yes.
Okay, you need to put your pens in the pencil case. That's where they go.
I know, and it's a simple trick where the pen lid usually goes on the top of the other side of the pen, doesn't it? I mean, it fits nicely.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't do it. I don't know why. I just put it down, and then I don't know where it is. It falls somewhere, goes down the side of somewhere, and I'm like, oh, whatever. I think my head is just, I'm a bit like Dumbledore. I need to take stuff out of my head so I can be bothered about the pen.
Or maybe you just need to go for retractable pens instead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always an option.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I need. And because I've got I can't write for too long on a normal biro.
Okay.
So, because my hand, I think it's because I was born left-handed, but I was made to go right-handed. And so when I write a bit, I don't know, I'm holding on too tight.
Really tight, pressing down, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't use a normal biro. And so for years, I've been using these gel pens, sort of, uniball type pens where it just flows kind of thing. So I've forgotten the point of this. I'm just going down a pen rabbit hole.
Probably because you're so focused on trying to write the way that you were forced to, that the pen lid has completely gone out of your mind. It's not a priority anymore.
Exactly.
No.
That is it.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 years of trying to write with my right hand, Noreen's got a question here. Noreen's one of our hosts.
Okay.
Wednesday nights every fortnight. She said she's currently prepping for her daughter's wedding, which is lovely.
Wow.
She said, is the fact that the art of writing letters is dying due in part to how hard it is to find good quality, pretty paper to write letters on?
Yes, that's really interesting actually, because our theme for February was love lettering. So we'd heard from some of our Twitter followers that brush pens were something that were very popular and something that they were interested in getting. So again, I did a bit of research into that and got some brush pens for that box. Got some little mini notelets that fold into a tiny little envelope shape, and then some washi tape, which is a little heart cutout, so you could write a little note and seal it with a little heart. And we also included a letter writing set, which had 4 sheets of it was a magnolia patterned letter paper and 2 matching envelopes. And we had a lot of positive feedback about those. And as you said, it's really difficult to get hold of letter writing stationery. I remember years ago when I used to write letters to a friend of mine, and I used to go to a particular high street shop, and they don't sell letter writing kits, or and they used to sell empty notelets as well that didn't cost the earth but were quite pretty, and little note cards, and they don't sell those anymore either. So, as I said, we popped those in the February box. We got some good feedback from those, and I believe that might be something we'd like to stock. But it's interesting that a lot of people still have pen pals that they write to via traditional or snail mail. But there doesn't seem to be the same demand in the high street or in shops for letter writing paper and nice quality stationery, again, that doesn't cost an absolute fortune. You can certainly go to some suppliers who are specialists, and it's very heavyweight stock paper that's, particular grade of paper, and, it's all embossed and it's got all the metallic effects and so forth on it.
Mm.
but I'm not very good at writing letters, and if I make a mistake, I want to be able to go on to the next sheet instead.
Mm.
So yes, I do believe that there is a sort of window of opportunity there for having stationery that is usable, it's pretty, that's nice, letter writing sets, things like that, that are at a price point that is appropriate.
Mm. I mean, it's interesting because when I was at university, and it was a different century, to be fair,
Yes.
it was the mid-90s. I was at university. There was a room for the mail, which
Yes.
probably doesn't exist anymore. And we'd pop along every, most days, and there'd be a letter there. All of us would get letters from home, from
Mm,
friends, from, all kinds of places. And I
yeah.
can't imagine that room being needed for that anymore
No,
nowadays.
I think you're right. Yeah, I imagine that if they well, no, I suppose I don't know. I'm thinking about halls of residence, so forth. Now would have their own addresses for small things, but I was thinking about the sorts of things where if your parents were going to send you some sort of a care package, or
Mm,
something you'd forgotten, or a parcel of some sort, then yes, that would be a great place to.
yeah.
I mean, trying to think of workplaces they tend. I don't think they even have a mailroom at my school at the moment. I think it's just sort of the reception office that gets used for
Mm,
processing posts. So yeah, I do
yeah.
think the art of letter writing seems to have almost vanished. But I say almost, as I said, I was quite surprised to hear how many of our members still do write um,
Yeah.
physical letters to friends and pen pals. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's been years. I mean, I've got a pen pal. I mean, I met him in Turkey, and then
okay.
when I was backpacking. Oh God, this fits in well with my theme today, the holidays. I went backpacking round Turkey and met these three guys, and we got on like a house on fire. All three of them from Australia, and then the following year, I went backpacking around Australia and visited them. And that was back in 1998. And
Mm,
myself and Michael have been friends ever since. And started off letter writing, and then
mm.
email came around. This is how old I am. Email. I remember writing an email and then
Uh,
going, "What do I do? What? I can't
what
see
happens
the bottom of
next?
this."
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't see what happens next, and having
yeah,
to ask the person at the counter, and they're like, "See this button with the arrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You scroll down, and I'm like,
yeah,
"Okay." Right? I had no clue. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. So we've been pen pals, I suppose, for like, and now, yeah, so then I started sending him videos, and we'd be emailing, and then that morphed to, at one point we were both on Facebook, but he's not anymore. And
Right.
then that morphed to emails back again, and now we're on something called Telegram, which is like
Oh,
WhatsApp.
right.
It's like a
Okay.
snazzier version of WhatsApp, but it's great because we just message each other all the time now,
Yeah, yeah.
which is quite lovely. But yeah, um, yeah, it's amazing how accessible and technology has made the world smaller, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, it's definitely, as you said, made the world smaller because, thinking back myself to, the advent of the internet and that dial-up tone, and then,
Mm.
your mum picks up the phone in the living room like, "Mum, I'm on the internet," and then you lose your connection, and
Yeah.
and now with sort of Wi-Fi and broadband, people sort of take it for granted. I think that
Yeah.
some of us older ones sort of remember
The
what it
blue
used to be
line.
like.
It's
Yeah.
that blue line. It's like the bane of your
Oh,
life, wasn't it? Oh, come
yeah.
on. Right, I'm going to cut to the news, and then I'll chat to you again. Okay, see you in a
Brilliant.
bit. Okay.
Thank you.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News with Megan Goods.
This is your latest Teachers Talk Radio News. An investigation undertaken by the Sunday Times has revealed that some top UK private schools have already begun lobbying top universities such as Oxford, Cambridge, and the Russell Group schools to secure places for their students. This news comes despite the fact that A-level results are not released for another 2 weeks. The article suggests that the lobbying is on behalf of students who may not have achieved the results necessary to secure a place at a top university. As grades were assessed by teachers this year, schools may already have an idea of how results day will go. The lobbying could potentially disadvantage those within the state sector, as acknowledged by the Shadow Education Secretary Kate Green, who said every pupil must be supported to progress in their education, not just the most privileged. Researchers have warned that children with poor mental health are 3 times less likely to secure 5 GCSEs. Children from disadvantaged backgrounds and those struggling with their mental health were likely to face the most challenges with catching up following the pandemic. The research linked a mental health study of 1,100 children aged 11 to 14 with their subsequent GCSE results taken from the National Pupil Database. It also found that boys' results were more likely to be impacted by their mental health than girls. The report called the impact on attainment and mental health from the pandemic a double hit for students. That was your latest Teachers Talk Radio News.
Creative Resources, made for teachers by teachers. At Creative Resources, we've been rethinking what a classroom can be. We've created a huge range of more than 2,500 original and exciting resources that span across more than 15 different subject areas. Whether you're looking for primary or secondary level resources, careers options, PSHE, arts or humanities, Creative Resources have the resources for you. We offer full curriculum packages and unique, challenging escape rooms themed on topics such as Shakespeare, Tudors, and fractions. We have quizzes, task cards, Tarsia puzzles, and lots more. Better still, more than 100 resources can be accessed for free. Just visit our website www.cre8tiveresources.com. You can get 10% off any order you make on our website by using the discount code TT Radio. Creative Resources, made for teachers by teachers. Every teacher loves stationery, right? Imagine getting a selection of fun, beautiful and unique stationery items designed and selected especially for teachers, delivered through your door every month. You need to check out teacherslovestationery.club.
I'm always so excited when the box arrives. It's such a treat.
My Teachers Love Stationery Club box is just a little treat to myself every month.
It's always full of delightful and surprising items, including some really good quality stationery brands like Faber-Castell and Stabilo.
And because you never know what you're going to get, it makes it even more fun and special when you get it.
It feels really great to be supporting a family business that's run by real teachers. I can't help feeling like they just know what I'm going to enjoy using stationery-wise better than I do myself.
Visit teacherslovestationery.club and enter the code TT Radio when you buy your first stationery box to save £2 today. teacherslovestationery.club. Introducing the Leadership Masterclass series by Diana Osagi. Learn how to ditch your fears and develop your leadership confidence. How to deal with difficult colleagues. How to thrive when you lead in a challenging environment. And how to get colleagues to buy into your vision. Join Diana for her online leadership masterclasses starting on the 10th of July and running all the way through the summer. These sessions are the perfect way to prepare and refresh for the next academic year and beyond. Book your place at courageousleadership.co.uk/events now. The first 50 leaders to sign up get an additional free mini coaching session with Diana herself. Don't miss this. Courageous Leadership Masterclasses at courageousleadership.co.uk/events.
Welcome back. We are talking to Teachers Love Stationery and Siobhan, one of the co-founders. Let me unmute you, Siobhan.
Sorry, Sabrina.
Sabrina! Oh my God,
Sorry.
where did I get this from? Where did I get that
It's okay.
from?
Well, it is early. I mean, normally, if it's the summer holidays, there's no way I'd be out of bed. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be lying in bed, scrolling through my phone if we're lucky, most likely snoring, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think me as well. But yes, we've got some great questions in the chat.
Amazing.
Megan is asking, hang on. She got it somewhere. Yes. What is the highest demand for? And she's asking,
I don't know.
Is it pastel highlighters? Pastel?
Oh, so we
not
have some
a
pastel
pastel fan.
highlighters. Yeah, I think they're really popular.
Yeah.
They're super popular, certainly with my pupils. I think that what we try to do is work out what we had in previous boxes and what we need to do in the next one that people might have run out of. And also, I kind of it's kind of bad because I base it around myself and what I've been through. So, for example, we do a lot of post-it notes, like mini post-it notebooks.
Oh yeah.
Because they're just so great. Like at the end of the lesson, if you can hand them out to your pupils and just say, okay, write down one thing you really understood this lesson or one thing you really got, and then write down one thing that, you know, you struggled a bit with or you think you need to learn a bit more in greater depth. And it just gives you an overview of where the class are up to. Or another thing is like, you know, there's a lot of key scientific knowledge that they have to learn. So doing little quizzes, putting it on a post-it note and, you know, making them recall the respiration equation and the photosynthesis equation at key stage 3, just little things like that. So I burn through post-it notes. I think, as I mentioned before, I also use a lot of stickers as rewards and they just stick them on for the books. So I just go through those so quickly.
Yeah.
Pens as well, like, you know, you'll be using a pen and then someone will run out or they need to borrow it or you don't get it back or it gets lost. So we always include pens.
Yeah.
Little notebooks as well. We tend to include, I think 1 month we had a little to-do list on a desk pad. 1 month we've had sort of an A5 exercise book style notebook, which is always useful for writing notes and things in there.
Yeah.
And we do include, as I mentioned, a lot of highlighters. So we kind of, as I say, try and judge what it is the teachers want, what they're using most quickly, what they're not using as quickly. We'd maybe put once every 3 months, that sort of thing. But yeah, we get a lot of feedback from our members and customers about what they like, what they would like to see more of, what they're sort of. Some of them are like, I've got too much washi tape now. I don't really need any more for the time being. And you think, okay, well maybe we'll pause the washi tape this month. You know.
Yeah. Okay. And controversial question coming up. I should have a little audio effect for this. No, that doesn't. No, that didn't fit. Right. Okay. What do we need? We need a. What? Okay.
An evil laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, I quite like
Now,
that.
ready?
Yeah.
Bullet tip or chisel tip?
Okay, I'm going to share something with you, and I'm not sure what everyone else is going to think of this, right? Whenever I get a new whiteboard marker, regardless of whether it is a chisel tip or a bullet tip, I bash it on the board a few times to flatten it out.
What?
I know. Because, like, it doesn't leave the right shape when I'm writing. I don't know if it's just me or the way that I write or something.
I think it's just you.
I bash the tip to flatten it so that I get a nice clear like line that's nice and thick. Like bullet tip it's like pointy and chisel tip is kind of pointy. I don't want pointy. The kids at the back can't see it.
It's flat though.
Sorry?
But chisel tip is already flat.
No, it's like on an angle. Like it is flat, but you're sort of on an angle. And also, if you're writing cursive, depending on your upstroke, downstroke, and the way that you're writing your letters, some of them are going to some lines end up kind of narrower than others, a bit like writing with a fountain pen. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. It's probably just me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you, Sabrina. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Now, I'm a chisel tip person, and my favorite color, which I'd always get, was purple. I just loved it. A nice chisel tip with purple.
Yeah.
But I used to use nearly every color except for yellow because
yellow. I knew you were going to say that.
Yellow's pointless.
That's the best way to hide your stationery. Pro tip for all the customers out there: get yourself a Gratinol tray, get one of those clicky lids on it, that hopefully not a transparent one, and just stick a nice big note on there that says yellow whiteboard markers. And
Yeah.
anything that you put in there, no one's ever going to look in there, so it's fine. You can keep all your best stationery, all your favorite items out of the way, so that no one's going to pinch them.
That's a good.
Because no one uses
plan.
yellow.
No, it is a pointless colour. What do you
is.
think is the best colour board pen?
Well, the thing is, I lean towards black for writing, but then I like to use all the different colours, because if I'm doing a diagrams, again, especially in science, and you want to highlight the different parts, or if you're doing a cycle, or if you're doing something like, for example, a cell diagram, something like that, you need all the different colours to show the different parts. So I really like to, if I'm going to label a cell diagram and I draw the different parts in different colours, I'll
Yeah.
then write the name of the part in that colour as well. I think it really makes it visually really accessible for pupils, and it really helps them to differentiate all the little bits and pieces. So yeah, black is my staple go-to, but I do like to
Yeah.
have a good range of colours to hand for when I'm doing
Yeah.
my complex
I
diagrams.
was one of I was one of those that was like the queen of mind maps. I remember somebody brought their NQT along after my A-level history lesson, said, "That's a mind map." And my entire
Wow.
board was covered, and like the kids were taking pictures, and they
Yeah.
used it for revision and stuff. And
Yeah.
but all different colours, all highlight, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have to say, it was a work of art.
Yeah.
Now, Leanne
Oh, dear.
says we had new whiteboard pens bought, and they stained every single whiteboard they were used on.
Oh no.
Deputy said, "Budget, guys, budgets." I mean, that
Oh,
is a
no.
false economy that actually ends
That
up
is,
costing
yeah.
more.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not just the cost in terms of money, it's also the cost in terms of time. The amount of time that your teachers would then have to spend scrubbing those whiteboards,
Yeah.
and then you have to kind of remove whatever you've cleaned. If you've not used proper whiteboard cleaner, you have to then use water afterwards to take the sticky residue off, otherwise it makes the problem worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is why, another thing that we do bear in mind is, stuff has to be usable. It doesn't have to cost the earth, but by the same token, if you pay what you get for. If you're going to buy something that's really, really low grade and is very, very cheap, then that's the outcome of the product that you're going to get.
Yeah.
But hey ho. But then again, that's another, we're talking about whiteboards. That's another use for the good old washi tape, isn't it? A lot of teachers
Yeah.
use it to section their boards off. So you can have if you have a rewards and sanction system at your school, you can have that sectioned in the corner by putting washi tape on your board, little section for the date and so forth. Helps keep your board tidy, I guess.
Leanne's pointed out something funny. It sounds like what ballerinas do with new pointy shoes.
Yeah.
Pointe shoes? I don't know.
Point. It's just point, I think.
Oh, is it just point? Point shoes.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
do you do with your board pens? Like,
oh,
making
just
them flat.
hard flat in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, well then, maybe ballet dancers would understand me then. That's fine.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Any other questions have we got here? Best. Oh no, we've done that one. Okay, I think that's it. So, if you can remind people where to find out more information.
Yeah, great. So on Facebook, we're there as just at Teachers Love Stationery. We're on Instagram as teacherslovestationery.club. And on Twitter, we are at TLS_DOT_club. So please do follow us on social media. You get lots of updates on our new products, both in our online shop and in our boxes. And of course, our website is at www.teacherslovestationery.club. And as it was mentioned on the little advert earlier, if you sign up using the code TT Radio, you will get £2 off your first subscription box. And we're just in the process. Today is our first packing day for August boxes, so please don't miss out on that one. We've got something really great for the holidays in there that we hope that our members will love. So if you're interested in grabbing your first box, use that code. You get £2 off, and August's box is a real cracker.
Okay, brilliant. Well, it's been great talking to you, Sabrina.
And it's been lovely being on. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with it and have a great summer.
Brilliant. Thank you. And you too.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers then. Bye.
Right, welcome back. Now it's great talking to Sabrina. I don't know where I got the name Siobhan from. I've no idea. Yes, but it's been great talking to Sabrina from Teachers Love Stationery. If you want to find out more information, you can go to teacherslovestationery.club. Okay, let us know. There's a few people in the studio, so do let us know where you're listening in from. About 25% of our listeners are from around the world. Yeah, we're UK based, but we are global. Alan Sweet on Twitter says always bullet tip. No. That's a no from me. No, chisel tip all the way. I loved chisel tip, and I'd just be absolutely gutted if somebody, this is why I was always in charge of ordering stationery, if somebody came along when I was away or something and ordered Tom Hopkins Burke says, I sense a TTR Twitter poll. Do it. I reckon it'll be 50-50 though. It really is a personal choice. I think some people just like using one color pen. Some people like using a range of pens. I know I did, but purple was my favorite. Purple was my thing. So welcome Seema, welcome Pecky, and welcome Tom Rogers. Okay. So what are we talking about today? We've been talking stationery. I think it's time I talked about headlines. Okay, Kyle's just sent in a load of questions. Just in the nick of time, Kyle. Thank you. Sent me a load of questions, but never mind. Right, so Sabrina's gone, and I think she's going to come back on, or either her or her husband Ben will be on another show talking about their stationery boxes and all their different items. Okay, so let's get to the headlines. Well, it's the Olympics, isn't it? Now, for some reason, this passed me by. I mean, when on earth did it start? Apparently, it's day 3. I've been so busy that I haven't seen any. I thought, oh, I'll look at the headlines today. And it's all about all the golds we won yesterday. And I'm like, what? So, which is fantastic. And I'm gutted I missed it because I love the diving. So, Tom Daly, with his mate, I can't remember his name, they won gold in the synchronized diving. Adam Peaty won gold in the swimming. I think there's been a spate of silvers and stuff in judo and various things like that. That's fantastic. So I'm gonna have to listen. I'm gonna have to see it. I have seen people moaning that the coverage is mainly people talking in the studio than actually watching any Olympics. But yeah, it must be weird in Tokyo right now because normally it's bonkers, isn't it? Like people from all around the world come into the town, but it's empty, just the athletes. So that must be weird. And if you think about, when I think about whenever they're doing long jump or high jump or something like that, they clap with the crowd, try and get the crowd to clap along to G them up to do a really long jump. And there is no crowd. So, yeah, that must be really odd because even in little events, local people come along, come watch, school kids go along. So yeah, it must be really odd. Okay, so the Olympics, and also it costs a lot of money, doesn't it? I mean, it was great because when it was in London, my other half and I decided to leave. We went to Malaysia, which now looking back, I try not to think about it, but what a crazy thing to do. In my hometown, the Olympics was here, but yeah, we just left and we ended up watching it in a hotel in Malaysia. Up all night watching it when we could have watched it at home in normal time, which is really silly, but there you go. It's just things you do. There was a lot of scaremongering at how awful it was going to be, and I think we'd had a rough year at work, a very busy year at work, and we just wanted to get away. But until I think it was TV Raj on Twitter that was talking about why don't we just have one centre that everybody goes to every 4 years instead of each city around the world or people bidding for it, costing them a fortune. And then in some places, these places are just completely empty. They used it for the Olympics and now they're completely empty. The great thing about the London one was it was the Olympic Stadium and all that was built in East London where I grew up. And the areas where it was built were derelict. They were complete. There was nothing there. And some of the places, like, you wouldn't go there. Even where there were places, you just would not go there. So it was all knocked down. It was all completely regenerated. And when I see pictures of it now, I'm like, wow, I cannot believe that's the same place. So and also the stadium's been given to West Ham, which is fantastic. Although I did like the bowling ground in Upton Park when I was a kid. I used to go quite a bit with my big brother. But it's all been regenerated and the local community are able to use it, though some are saying that some of the apartment blocks that the Olympic athletes used to be housed in, they're only affordable for more affluent people. So it's been a bit gentrified, which kind of pushes out the people that lived in that area anyway. So yeah, Olympics. Let us know your thoughts. Do you love the Olympics? Do you think it's a complete waste of time? What are your thoughts? Let us know. Monkey has entered the live studio. Interesting. Let us know where you're listening in from, Monkey and Suli. Yeah. What else we got? We've got the London floods. Now, I wasn't aware of the London flood. I feel like I've been in some kind of bubble because I've been sorting out wedding stuff this weekend. Yes, I'm getting married in 2 months' time. It's very exciting. But I've been sorting all that kind of stuff out. And what was really cool is at the wedding venue, a mate of mine who really should be charged rent now. Ever since I said, right, that's the venue we're going to have, she's been there most days. I mean, it is in a beautiful location in Dorset, in Poole, right on the beach, and she doesn't live too far. But she noticed that people setting up for a wedding, and she was chatting to them about it. And turns out they were just selling everything the next day. So I went along yesterday and just bought loads of stuff at cost price for them because they didn't want to take it all back to London with them. So I was doing them a favour really, but it certainly did us a favour. So I kind of feel like an ambulance chaser, like a wedding chaser, just kind of, right, you finished with that? Are you finished with that? Are you taking it? Anyway, so London floods. I lived in London. Well, I was brought up in London, left 5 years ago. So 42 years lived in London. I've never seen floods like it, like I've seen on TV. You have to sift out the fake news though, because I saw probably the London Eye, like only half of it on one photo, and I'm like, that can't be true. That's not real. But if your street was flooded, do call in. Let us know. what is happening, so we can sift through the fake news. But it's interesting, people are now talking about climate change again. And near me in Bournemouth, there's an oceanarium, and they have this video that the kids, my kids have seen it 1 billion times, but they will sit and watch it every single time and go, "Is that London?" And it just shows how in 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, what's going to happen to London if the ice cap keeps melting. The sea level will rise and London will sink. And I'm looking at the pictures in London thinking, oh my goodness, you got canals overflowing, drains overflow, everything overflowing. And if that's not climate change, then what is? Because you're always told that, well, climate change, yeah, it's getting hotter, but that also means more rain. More rain means more water, means London's going to sink. So yeah, what implications does that have where you live? Because where we used to live was right by a canal. I'm kind of thinking that canal's probably overflown over. What is it? Over. This coffee hasn't kicked in, over. It is overflown. I don't know. Anyway, has risen, and yeah, our house by the canal probably will be in danger of being flooded. So glad we're not living there now, but but let us know how you're getting on. The other thing, the contraceptive pill can be bought over the counter in pharmacies in the UK. That's interesting, isn't it? I think they do that in other countries. I'm not, yeah. I mean, on the one side, they check. Do they need to check your blood pressure? Do they need to? What are the implications of that, I wonder? Because medically speaking, is that an issue? I mean, in the sense of making sure we have less pregnancies, less unexpected pregnancies, that's a good thing, because some young girls might be embarrassed to go to their doctors, so they can just go. But then how will they feel just walking into a pharmacy and asking for the contraceptive pill? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a culture change there, really. But maybe that culture change has already happened, because I'm old, and when I was younger, there is no way I would have gone into a pharmacy and asked for a contraceptive pill. Yeah, I think I would have died of embarrassment. But hopefully young people today have got more gumption. They know they need to be safe, not sorry, and can just walk into a pharmacy and ask for whatever. There's been a huge landslide in northern India. 9 people have been killed. That's pretty horrific. I think it's all this rain, isn't it? Irish pubs and restaurants will resume indoor service. That sounds good. That sounds good for me, because my other half's Irish, so we're hoping the Irish contingency will be over for the wedding. But that's a bit touch and go. We're not sure. Another headline: COVID cases fall as jabs turn the tide. That's great news, but we haven't got the figures from Freedom Day yet. Sobia, you're making me very jealous. Morning, just woke up. I'm trying not to swear, because I was woken up by my delightful children at 6 a.m. I think they're a bit excited because they know they're going camping. Tom says he's still at Tom Hopkins Burke. You're still at work? How is that? It's the 26th. Are you supposed to be at work, or did you just go in out of habit? You break up on the 28th. That's just wrong. Tom, that's just wrong. Leave that school. I mean, do you start later? I mean, yeah, Sobia says, wow, Tom, you need to leave. That's just wrong. 28th of July. So you don't start, and Tom Hopkins Burke is saying you don't start later in September. Is The inset on the oh my god, this is all just too much for me. Inset day on the 31st of August. So you don't finish until the 28th, but you do have 2 weeks off at October. Ah, okay. That is interesting because if there is a time and an extra few days at Christmas. Do you know what? I would rather that. I would rather, if I was a teacher, I would rather 2 weeks at October because you are absolutely shattered. Because it takes you a week. I used to just spend most of the week asleep. One year we went to Egypt. Oh my God, it was just wrecked. And we went windsurfing. We went windsurfing October half term. The plane was delayed, and luckily I had a suit in work, and I had to go from Gatwick straight to work in North London that morning. And I was still, luckily, I had in my luggage a white, what do you call them, shirt? Well, I had a white shirt basically, but like a summery one. And I could put that under my suit. And the reason why I had a suit at work was because I used to get changed from my bike gear because I used to have a scooter. And so luckily I had that. But yeah, going off on holiday, we did it once, never did it again during half term because it was just so full on, especially a full on holiday like windsurfing where you're just completely active the whole time. But a few extra days at Christmas, I think 2 weeks is just not enough for teachers, especially with teachers with lots of family. It's mad, isn't it? Because lots of people I know would be rushing off all around the country, all over the shop. Yeah, and then you have to work as well. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot to do. But Tom, I'm feeling for you now. I am feeling for you, but you'll be feeling for everybody else. Kate Jones broke up 25 days ago. Well, I know in Spain they broke up a couple of months ago because they break up the end of May. Yeah, they break up the end of May and then go back till September. So, yeah. Right. Next up, we have got Megan Goods with the news.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News with Megan Goods.
This is your latest Teachers Talk Radio News. An investigation undertaken by the Sunday Times has revealed that some top UK private schools have already begun lobbying top universities, such as Oxford, Cambridge, and the Russell Group schools, to secure places for their students. This news comes despite the fact that A-level results are not released for another 2 weeks. The article suggests that the lobbying is on behalf of students who may not have achieved the results necessary to secure a place at a top university. As grades were assessed by teachers this year, schools may already have an idea of how results day will go. The lobbying could potentially disadvantage those within the state sector, as acknowledged by the Shadow Education Secretary Kate Green, who said every pupil must be supported to progress in their education, not just the most privileged. Researchers have warned that children with poor mental health are 3 times less likely to secure 5 GCSEs. Children from disadvantaged backgrounds and those struggling with their mental health were likely to face the most challenges with catching up following the pandemic. The research linked a mental health study of 1,100 children aged 11 to 14 with their subsequent GCSE results taken from the National Pupil Database. It also found that boys' results were more likely to be impacted by their mental health than girls. The report called the impact on attainment and mental health from the pandemic a double hit for students. That was your latest Teachers Talk Radio News.
Every teacher loves stationery, right? Imagine getting a selection of fun, beautiful and unique stationery items designed and selected especially for teachers, delivered through your door every month. You need to check out teacherslovestationery.club.
I'm always so excited when the box arrives. It's such a treat.
My Teachers Love Stationery Club box is just a little treat to myself every month.
It's always full of delightful and surprising items, including some really good quality stationery brands like Faber-Castell and Stabilo.
And because you never know what you're going to get, it makes it even more fun and special when you get it.
It feels really great to be supporting a family business that's run by real teachers. I can't help feeling like they just know what I'm going to enjoy using stationery-wise better than I do myself.
Visit teacherslovestationery.club and enter the code TTRadio when you buy your first stationery box to save £2 today. teacherslovestationery.club.
Welcome back, everyone. We have been talking to Sabrina from Teachers Love Stationery. We've been talking about the news. Now, I want to know about your holiday disaster stories, which are probably quite funny now. And in the last 20 minutes or so, I'll be giving top tips on camping. Join the conversation. Give us a call. Very abrupt. So what are you doing for the summer holidays? I think I mentioned in a show before that back in the day when I was single, if we broke up on a Friday, by Monday I'd be on a plane and gone. And but with every year in the last 10 years, it was like I needed to wait a few days, and then it got to the stage where I needed to wait a week because my body was just wrecked. My body and mind were wrecked. And an example of that is that, I mean, I was a bit of a, I suppose, a backpacking veteran, and I know Sabi has been backpacking all over as well. And one of the last times I went backpacking on my own, I just booked a flight to Sicily and booked the hotel on the first night and booked the hotel on the last night and the flight back, obviously. But I had no plans for in between. I just bought a book on the Lonely Planet to Sicily and had absolutely no plans because I hadn't had time to even look at it. Work had been mental that year. So yeah, it was bonkers. It must have been about the mid noughties, probably around 2004, 5, something like that. And so I got to Sicily, I got to the hotel, and then I opened up the Lonely Planet and I could just about see. I was so tired. And I kind of did a rough route around Sicily. Now, what I didn't know about Sicily is that, well, it's beautiful for a start. And I'd been all over Italy and I wanted to check out Sicily. Nobody in Sicily really talks English, which was great because by the end of the 3 weeks, I was not fluent in Italian, but I could understand it. I could when people were having a conversation, I could understand it. But the next day, I made my way to this place. I can't remember where it was, but it was right on the coast. And I think it began with a T. I can't remember where it was now. Taormina, something like that. And when I had a massive, massive rucksack, and I got off at the train station, and the plan was go to this campsite. And this guy came along, and he said, "Do you want somewhere to stay?" And I don't know what came over me, and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And he said, come like this, right? I would never do this now, probably because I've got kids and I'm much older, more aware of danger and the world we're living in today. But he showed me his little scooter, right? Tiny little scooter. I mean, I used to ride a scooter, but it was one of those big scooters, sporty ones. And he told me to get on it. And I'm like, what? Right. So I'm holding on to this guy with my massive rucksack on the back. And we're off into the town. And then he takes me into this place, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get murdered. I'm sure I'm going to get murdered. But then he showed me the bedroom and stuff like that. And he left, thank God. But I then dumped my stuff in the room, locked it up, left the place, and then decided to walk around the town. And as I walked around the town, I thought, hang on a minute, where do I live? Where is this place I'm staying at? And I'm like, I'm sure it had a blue door. So I'm going back up and down this. Right, this is how tired I was, because I've always been meticulous about these things, writing things down, make sure I had my passport on me, all that kind of thing. Never once got robbed in all my time backpacking alone. And yeah, it was, for the first time, I was scared. For the first time, I was close to tears, because I was like, oh my God, I have no idea where I'm staying. And I can only put it down to tiredness. So I then went to a scooter shop where the hideout scooters. I had my passport on me and my credit card. So I paid for a scooter so I can then scoot up and down these roads and to try and find this place that I was actually staying in. And I then went to the beach, sat down, had a little cry, because I was like, what a numpty. What am I doing? I'm on my own. I've got none of my stuff. But, so I was trying to process all these thoughts while being extremely tired. And then I thought, right, I'm going to go do another round. And I was asking all these people, do you know this guy called Sebastian? Do you know this guy? And they're all like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm a numpty, I'm an idiot. And then I saw him with another backpacker, and I was like, right. So it was like a scooter chase. I was chasing him on my scooter, and he's off on his scooter. And finally, I got to the hostel, and he was saying, go, go, go. So he couldn't understand why I was following him. And me and this girl ended up, and I was just so relieved to see him, and got into this room, this dodgy room actually. But me and the girl became friends, and we hung out and we traveled a bit together, and it all ended well. But it was like one of those moments where I was like, what on earth am I doing? But it ended up being an amazing holiday, because then I traveled to somewhere where I was going to stay for just a couple of nights. And I got to this campsite, and it's quite near a load of volcanoes. And I managed to get there in the middle of the night, and it was pitch dark. And I had this tent that I'd popped down to the shop the day before I was leaving and bought it. In a bit of a day, I need a tent, and I just bought this £80 tent. No, I didn't try it out. Didn't because I didn't have a garden. I was in a flat in London, and just went off on holiday. So anyway, I got there, and I was trying to put my tent up in the pitch dark, and these guys were sitting there, and this guy said, he said a word to me, which later I found out was help. Do you want help? And I was like, oh yes, please. And later he said to me that he couldn't see how I'd fit into the tent because it seemed smaller than my backpack. It was this teeny tiny little tent, one of those tents that I practically burnt when I got home because it was a nightmare to put up. But luckily these guys who are from Sicily helped me put it up, and then they kind of took me under their wing. It was amazing, actually. They learned English from me. It was funny because they just suddenly burst into song, row 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 your boat. Because it's just stuff that they learned at school, and it'd be really funny listening to them. But I learned a lot about Italian culture. The Sicilians go on holiday in Sicily, a bit like us lot in Dorset. We go on holiday in Dorset. Yeah, and at one point I was like, do they know everybody on the campsite? Because they said they got all the food and wine, and I'm talking vats of wine, like massive vats of wine that you'd only see in a pub or something. Even then, I'd never seen huge vats of wine like this before in my life, and they would say, "Oh, come along," and I was like, "Oh, I'll contribute." And I'm like, "Don't be ridiculous," it was almost offensive. And they were just fantastic because we'd all be sat together. They'd make food for the entire campsite, and I was like, "Are they your cousins? Are you family?" And they're like, "No, none of us know each other." Another thing that was amazing was that they'd all be singing football songs, but you'd have the Napoli lot and the from all over Italy. But I remember being in Ealing in West London, and you had Man United fans and Arsenal fans singing. And I said to my mate, "It's going to kick off. We need to leave. We're in Burger King, right in the middle of the night. It's going to kick off any minute." No, it's all good spirited. Before you knew it, a fight broke out. But it wasn't like that. This was all good spirited. Everyone was singing football songs. Everyone eating food. Everyone contributing. It was wonderful. I ended up staying there for 2 weeks. And they took me to all these volcanoes. They had a car. So I just got to know so many people, and I'm still in touch with them via Facebook. So that was a holiday that started off horrible. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. But when I got to this campsite, it was absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they took me on, I should get in touch with them again, actually. The fact that they took me under their wing was lovely. So tell us about your holiday nightmares or wonderful holiday moments you've had in the past. There's lots of hosts listening in. You're all awake. Kyle, I've just Kyle, who's one of the Teachers Talk Radio executive team, used to be a host, one of the funniest hosts, I have to say, has sent me a list of questions to ask Teachers Love Stationery in the nick of time. Thank you. And to be fair, are you still in Parma? Are you still away? And the last question is, how much more appealing is the colouring section to geographers? When have I ever said geographers? I'll read that again. How much more appealing is the colouring section to geographers than any other type of teacher? Now, Kyle, obviously history teacher, the history geography divide continues. Smart is on speaker now. Hello, Smart.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Nigeria. Welcome to the show. Are you a teacher?
Yeah, I teach sometimes. When I was studying NCE program, I did my teaching practice.
Oh, right. Okay, so we're talking about teacher holidays. And what are the holidays like in Nigeria? Do you get the whole summer off, or?
Oh, yeah, it's holiday.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
holiday now. And do you get long summer holidays, or what's it like?
No, it's very short.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's like 7 weeks, I can say, because we are having a summer break, and now it is yet. School resumes now Monday.
Wow, did you say 7 weeks?
I mean 7 days. I mean 1 week.
Oh, 7 days. Oh, wow. You have 1 week and then you're back in school.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Not
And
today.
what about the rest of the year?
You say what?
The rest of the year. I mean, because in the UK, we're in school 39 weeks of the year. So we have What's I can't do the maths. 39, 40, about 13 weeks off in the year. So in Nigeria, what's it like? Roughly how many weeks do you have?
It's about 35.
Oh, 35. Okay. So do you have longer holidays in different parts of the year?
Absolutely, we have, like, when time some students are going to back home, start having their own home, and some parents even start they are getting come, they are doing something that some in this nature, and
Mm.
happy to get their children back at home, helping them when it's come to some speech, they get their hands on such. And a holiday in Nigeria is like freedom, you
It's
know.
like what? Sorry, you're kind of breaking up a bit.
It's like a freedom, how do different kind of things. If you are on work, now find the time to do it on yourself in a holiday. That's it.
Yeah. 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 What else would you like to talk about? Smart? Is that your name? Smart?
Oh no, called smart by different part people, but my
Oh,
real name is Abakar
Abukar? Abakar?
Abubakar.
Abu Bakr. Okay,
Yep.
fantastic. Well, thank
Do
you
you know?
so much. Oh, sorry, what? What
Do
was
you know someone with this name?
Abu Bakr?
Yep.
I've taught children with that name, yeah, in London.
Oh,
Yeah, many
what?
children actually. Yeah, Abu Bakr. Yeah.
Okay. Who are they? Are they?
Are they? I think Abu Bakr is probably a common name in Somalian children that I've taught. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for calling in, Abu Bakr.
Oh,
And do call in again
okay.
anytime.
Thank.
Okay. Cheers. Bye. So that was a call from Nigeria. So I told you 25% of our listeners are from around the world. And now we're in different time slots over the summer. That's great. We'll probably get more. So we're talking crazy holidays. I mean, what is your holiday style? Do you go 100 miles per hour? I went on holiday. It was that windsurfing holiday, actually, with a mate and her husband. And it was full on. It was absolutely full on. And seeing as it was half term, my other half and I were like, right, we've always had good holidays because we're quite similar in that, okay, if we have one day of sightseeing, the next day we've planned in a rest day where we just do nothing. We read. He plays chess on his own, reads about chess. He's a bit of a chess nut, actually. Actually, Christopher Vowles has got a show coming up Wednesday night on chess. He's going to be talking about chess in schools. So I'll be listening in on that. Yeah, so crazy day followed by a rest day and possibly 2 rest days. Sobia's, she's out of the hotel by 7 a.m. usually. Are you crazy? I want to see and do everything. I need a holiday after a holiday. Ha! Yeah, that's not me. I always, even when I went off backpacking on my own, um, I'd I'd go to a park or I'd go to the beach or wherever I was where there was a quiet spot where I could just sit, write in my journal, put some just reflection time, reflect on the year. And what we used to do is every summer when my other half and I used to go, I say used to go on holiday because I can't remember the last time we went on a holiday, not camping, that is. And we did a life wheel. So we'd look at every area of our lives, which bit has been lacking over the year, and then put in a target of what we're going to do to improve that area, which is very a coaching technique. So like a busman's holiday, I suppose, but you're doing it for yourself. So that's a good thing to do. Section off your life into family, friends, leisure time, health and fitness, spirituality. That can mean different things. I'm not religious, but spirituality to me is like, it is that reflection time to sit still, to stop. And many people do, like Sabia, go 100 miles per hour. And I kind of wonder what that does to your body and your mind, especially if you're in school the other 39 weeks of the year. Matt Haig has written a book recently. Well, it's out recently, The Comfort Book. And he says, resting is doing. And I really like that. That's it's so simple, but it's so true that people constantly feel like they need to be doing something. And if that's the kick you get out of life, then great. But I do think that every now and then you do need to stop because your brain is just constantly whirring and going. Sabia says, I'm into photography, so look for opportunities everywhere. That's different. If you look at teachers, what's it called? Teacher 5 a Day that Patrick Hotley O'Connor and I were talking about. We're both on the steering group for Teacher 5 a Day. And one of the areas of Teacher 5 a Day is notice. So things like that is really good for your well-being. So yeah, that's fantastic, Sobi. I'd love to see some of your photos. Yeah, so it's about planning time for resting though as well. I think that's useful. Like I said, I started off jetting straight off on holiday, but then after a while it became, actually I need a week off before I go on a holiday. Oh, we have a visitor.
I'm not here.
Yeah, he says he's not here. I think he's trying to pack for camping, which we're going in about an hour. Yeah, please don't speak. Right, okay, so yeah, it'd be great if you shared some of your holiday snaps on Teachers Talk Radio, and tag in at ttradio.com. He's now making a lot of noise, so hopefully you can't hear that. But yes, so what?
They can't hear that.
They can't. They can hear you now.
They can't hear anything.
Right, this is Tim, my other half. Yes, he's annoying, but like,
I can't print that.
Stop that. That's yeah, a reference to Spinal Tap. If everyone's ever.
Where's the tent?
The tent is under the sink.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's in the larder. How middle class do I sound? It's in the larder, right? Yeah, it'd be useful if we packed the tent. Now, I didn't get around to giving my top 10 tips on camping, but number 1, pack the tent. And number 2, don't forget the kids. But I'm going to sign off now because I do need to go and pack up the car and pack up the kids and get us off camping. But just quickly, because I've got about 1 minute, some top tips on camping, especially with kids. Whilst it's hot during the day, remember it's cold in the evenings, really cold. The first night, well, I didn't think I'd like camping. I thought I'd hate it. And the first night I did because I was freezing. But luckily, because we camp in Dorset where we live, I jumped in the car the next morning and drove home within half an hour, picked up the quilt, the kids' jumpers, my jumper, all the winter clothes, and drove back again. So do take jumpers, polo necks, and we do bring a quilt as well that we put over all our sleeping bags. I have ordered a little heater. A little heater, but it's arriving Wednesday. So whilst we're camping, I could pop back and get it, but I won't. But we're going camping again next week somewhere else, so in Dorset. So we should have that, and we're going for longer this time. At 6 p.m, this is what we do. I read this in a book somewhere. At 6 p.m, get your kids into thermal underwear and put their pajamas on over the top. So they'll still be playing for about 2 or 3 hours whilst it's still light, and they won't get cold. And you can put them straight to bed. And around 6 p.m, cover them in Mozzie Bite stuff as well, and yourself, because that's when they come out. They'll fall asleep in front of the fire, so it's easy just to put them into bed then. It's nice. They're all snuggly. Condiments, don't throw away old condiment bottles. Use Tic Tac boxes, because you don't want to take the big boxes of spices and that. I'm one of those that always has a bottle of Tabasco in my handbag. I do not like bland food, but I'm also taking some chili flakes as well, because I do not like bland food. Footwear, you need flip-flops or Crocs for the shower and beach days, wellies for rainy muddy days, sandals or trainers. I'm taking my trainers because I'm going to attempt to start running again. Whether that happens or not is a different story. And my last tip, lights. Use head torches, the normal torch. If you have a normal torch and you got toilet paper in the other hand, if you fall over, well, that's the end of your toilet paper will get all muddy. You've got no hands. So if you've got a head torch, that's brilliant. And also it's hours of fun for the kids if they've both got head torches and you can see exactly where they are at night time, because you just see these lights running around, so it's great. I'm going to leave it there. I was going to say some more, but it's 10:31 and I need to get packing to go on a holiday, and the kids are uber excited, so I'll have to calm them down somehow as well. But I don't need to say my usual live for the week, not just the weekend, because it's now, well, apart from Tom Hopkins Burke, it's the holidays. Enjoy the holidays. I am back next week. Am I? Yes, I am. I'm back next week. It's the 9th that I'm not here. Yes, I'm around next week before we go in between holidays, in between camping moments. So, yeah, have a fabulous week, and hopefully the sun shines for everybody. See you next week.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.